Hi. Thank you for tuning in with God Lily. We're going to continue Genesis. We're trying to find out where gods come from and why did God say that we are gods and why did Jesus say that we are gods. God said we are gods in Psalms 82. He said ye are gods and are children of the Most High. And in John 10:34, Jesus said ye are gods to whom of the word of God comes. So if you call yourself any kind of word, God word coming through you or coming to you, a preacher, a minister, a teacher, you have to know that you're God. If you don't know that, then you're not doing God's work. You are doing Satan work. Sorry to tell you, but God said either the Father's in you or Satan. So if the Father's in you, you have to be like your Father. You are a little God, a little G. All right, we're going to the 6th chapter of Genesis. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them as wives of all which they had chose. Sounds like Greek mythology. When the gods came down and saw the women and started taking different forms and trying to seduce them all kind of ways and taking many wives as they could. That's what this is. The Bible and Greek mythology. It all goes together. And the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them as wives of all which they chose. Excuse me. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man. Now God is saying, my spirit is not always going to be with man. He's not all God no more. For he is also it. Okay. For that he also is flesh. Come on, let me get it out. For that he is, all right. For that he also is flesh. Now God is admitting, oh my goodness, I've created this being. He is not all God, and he's flesh because I took him from the dirt and breathed the breath of life into him. He's not the first creation. So now my spirit is not going to strive with him forever because he's flesh also. And his flesh is going to take over. What can I say? For that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. Okay, even though you're not all God, you're like Hercules or any of the part God, part human Greek mythology people that they try to tell you about. That's what we are now. We are not all God. We are part flesh. And we still have 120 years. I've lived half of mine. Excuse me. I'm smoking some sage, medical marijuana. I believe that because I'm Coptic, and that's what we believe, that God gave us the medicines that we should have. And if you knew how to use them, it will work efficiently. But since we don't know how to use them, then man tells you how to use them by putting them in pills and medicine for you. Thank you very much. I prefer the natural that God gave me, if I can have it. So we're going to go continue. There were giants in those days. Oh my goodness. So there were giants in those days. And also, after that, when the sons of God came into the daughters of man, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men and were of old men of renown. Now, we need to find out what that really means. Old men of renown. My interpretation is they were like the gods. The first ones that was here. And God saw that the weakness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of their thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Now God was upset because our thoughts, and why would you think he'd be upset about your thoughts? Because every time you think, you create. And if you've got God in you, you're creating stuff that's not good for nobody. They were creating giants, cyclops, witches, warlocks, werewolves, vampires. This is where all that imagination came from, and it existed at one time because man could think of it and it would exist immediately. Now it doesn't happen like that. We think of it and it takes years to exist, to come about. And he repented, and it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. That's when God repented from making man, because every thought, he was part man and he was part God, and everything they thought was happening and was just being destructive. My cyclops is bigger than your cyclops, and it can kill you. And it'll stump over all your people and the giants and all the different creatures and all the stuff that you see in our Greek mythology and in our myth books and all the Indian stuff and all the things that you think is what was out of a person's imagination. It was. But it existed in the Bible days, back in that day, in Genesis. And the Lord said, I will destroy man with all whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and creeping thing, and the fowl of the air, for it repented me that I have made them. And Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. That's at the 6th chapter, the 8th verse. Because now man has started mixing the beast with people. And that's why God destroyed it. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generation, and Noah walked with God. All he wanted was a person that was walking and talking with him. And Noah even drank, and God didn't mind that. So the flood came about because of our wicked imagination. And we were part God and part human, flesh. And it had got out of hand. We was doing things out of the flesh, out of feeling. That's why it's not good to have emotions. It's sort of what the aliens movies be telling you. Emotions get you in trouble. And this is the same thing in the spiritual world. Same thing that's been handed down from generation. Your emotions will get you in trouble. Your flesh. When you're out of the flesh, your spirit, you have that. You don't have those emotions. We're going to take another break, and I'll be right back. Let that soak in. Ye are gods. John 10:34.